All right, thank you so much for joining me. This is Gurpal Singh from Gursur Education, and as you all know that we have already started a series regarding managerial economics. So, going by all this system, this is the next lecture of managerial economics, and that is going to be regarding the next marketing structure, and that is monopolistic system. In this specific lecture, I'm going to teach you how there is a system of a product differentiation, and after that, how are the selling and advertising cost plays the better role in deciding the prices and input by the monopolistic. So we have already gone through from perfect competition, monopoly, and some of the very important topics like total revenue, total cost, and then demand elasticity, production function, utility function, and all these things. And I must tell you, you shall be able to understand regarding monopolistic competition only if you have the prior and basic knowledge regarding the different marketing structures, which we have already understood. So it is highly suggested to go through from perfect competition and monopoly system video lectures, which we have already delivered you. In case you have not gone through from these, then you are then these are very important and very must to go through. Only then you can understand this video lecture. So I think I have already given you the description regarding the detailed structure. We shall be talking about the monopolistic system in the actual video lecture. So I'm just going to share the screen, and I hope you will be enjoying this video lecture. And we have designed each and everything which is relevant from exam point of view in this video lecture. So just see that and enjoy this video lecture. I'm just going to share the screen right now. All right, so now this is the screen for the next topic regarding monopolistic competition. And this is the most important type under the imperfect kind of competitions. Okay, so we have, by just merely looking at this word, if you have gone through from the concepts under in the classes of undergraduation and post graduation regarding the business economics, then you would realize that this particular topic comes after so many topics, because if you have the knowledge and understanding of the previously learned concepts, only then the monopolistic competition can be understood further. So when we talk about monopolistic competition, I have already provided you the structure of a monopolistic competition, and I have told you how we are going to read this specific topic. So in this all case out, what we have to do is to understand regarding what is the monopolistic competition. After that, features of that. After that, I am going to tell you what is there in us with us to learn in this specific concept, like equilibrium situation. So for these, all the previously learned chapters are must, like demand, elasticity of demand, and most importantly, I tell you in each and every lecture that you must have the knowledge regarding the revenue and the cost of function, and these are the most important. Because when we talk about the equilibrium position of any market position, then we have to learn two approaches. Okay, these two approaches are the first of all the total revenue and a total cost approach, and the second is marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. Now you can see revenue and cost word have been associated with both the given approaches. So in this way you can realize that going through from all the previous concept is very necessary. And after going through these, the most important things you have to understand, like a perfect competition and a monopoly, about which we have already delivered you the lecture. So in perfect competition and monopoly concepts, we have explained you in detail the concept regarding equilibrium position of the firm or industry. So if you have gone through from those videos, only then watching this video is suggested. Otherwise you are not able to understand this completely. Okay, so in this video lecture I'm not going to make further details of both these two approaches, because you must have gone through from these two. Only then you can go ahead. So now just going to move further, and I'm going to tell you each and every concept covered under the monopolistic competition. And most importantly, in the last of the lecture, I shall tell you regarding the product differentiation and the excess capacity in case of a monopolistic competition. So what is monopolistic competition? This is just an imperfect competition. Okay, so this is the sum of both. Okay, like this is the mixture of both the previously taught, previously learned concepts regarding the market. Okay, so first of all, this is the sum of perfect competition, and secondly, it also have some elements of a monopoly. When you sum these two, then you get the competition which is known as a monopolistic competition. So now you would be you would be realizing that understanding this depends upon the understanding of a perfect competition and monopoly. So what is this? This is just a mixture of a perfect competition and a certain degree of a monopoly on the basis of a correct appraisal of the market situations. Okay, so this is the case. So monopolistic competition is a market structure in which there are many sellers of a commodity, but product of each seller differ from that of other seller. So this is the competition which nowadays prevailing in the market. Okay, I'm telling you how. You can understand further regarding this only if you go through from the features of monopolistic competition. So there are large number of buyers and sellers, difference in quality and shape of goods. So you know that how you can differentiate between Audi and Jaguar. How you can differentiate between these two products by just going through their features, because they both are having master of their areas. Okay, so their product is different. So this is known as the concept of a product differentiation. They both have a different shape, and they both have a different qualities and different features associated with these. So this is known as the product differentiation, and this is the most important feature of monopolistic competition. Only this is the feature which makes the monopolistic competition differ from perfect competition and monopoly as well. So this is perfect product differentiation. So there is lack of knowledge on the part of consumers. Consumers don't know regarding all the features of all the products, so that's why they are unaware of the things, and they purchase from different producers. There is high transportation cost in case of monopolistic competition, because you have to send goods from one place to other place. And this is the next most important feature. This is advertisement and selling cost. Because if there are two sellers, more than two, there can be so many sellers. You know that in monopolistic competition, I am just taking the example of two sellers. The one is producing the Maruti cars, and the second one is producing the Audi car. Okay, so both of them have to bear the advertising and selling cost in order to tell the consumers that how their product is differ from the other producers. So in this way, you can say that advertisement and selling cost is the most important feature of a monopolistic competition. So I have taught you regarding two most important things. So the first is the product differentiation, and the second one is advertisement cost. Then there is ignorance of buyer. Buyers are ignored about all the features. Okay, no one can know all the features regarding a specific product. Okay, so they are ignorant, so that's why they prefer the different products. Then differences in the establishment of the industry. Industry is different in this case because all the products are different. Okay, so somebody can be having their own market niche, and some other firms can have their own market niche. So this is said that difference in the establishment of the industry is there in case of a monopolistic competition. So these were all the things regarding meaning and features. In all, if we are making the conclusion, you have to make the stress upon two features. The first is a product differentiation, and the second one is advertisement cost. So now I'm just moving further and going to tell you what is there for us. This is known as product differentiation. I have talked about this thing many times previously in this lecture. So I have taught you that product variation refers to any change that alters the physical characteristics of the product from those of competitors and conditions under which it is sold, like changing of the color of a toothpaste tube. You can see that there are so many companies who are offering toothpaste nowadays. There are so many companies who are offering number of different kinds of bathing soaps. Okay, so many companies are there. You can take the example of Lux, you can take the example of Synthol, you can take the example of Dettol, and so many companies are there. And how we can differentiate this is known as a product differentiation concept. We know by just merely looking at the packing of a soap, we can know that this product refers to Lux, and this product refers to Synthol, this product refers to Dettol, and so on. So in this way, product differentiation is done in case of a monopolistic competition. This is done only to raise your market share. Why this is done? Why the products are offered separately? Why the company make the advertisement only for the reason that they wishes to capture more and more market share from their competitors. So this is known as a product differentiation. Then these are the two approaches as usual, nothing difficult. Okay, I already believe that you would have completely understood the concept regarding the equilibrium situation of the monopolistic firm. As you have gone through from the equilibrium situation under perfect competition and under the concept of monopoly as well. If you have understood these two, then understanding this is not going to be that difficult for you. So I have not written the complete graphs of that because I believe now you have already understood those things. I'm going to make the graph myself only. So this is OX axis, this is OY axis. Okay, there are here what we can say. Here we can see the prices. Okay, here we can see here in per unit output, or we can say that the profits whatever we are going to write here. So the total revenue curve of a monopolistic firm is like that. Okay, this is like that. I have taught you in the monopoly competition as well, and the total cost curve is like that. Okay, so this is like that. So this is total revenue curve, and this is total cost curve. Okay, so initially this is the total revenue is 0. That's why you are incurring losses. Losses the difference. Like this is the difference. That will be the difference. Okay. So total profit curve starts from the below figure, and at the point where TC and TR matches to each other, that is known as break-even point, where you suffer no profit or no loss situation. This is why the total profit curve attaches itself to the OX axis. Then it rises, and if there is the larger the difference between the total revenue and the total cost curve, the larger the difference, larger shall be your profit. This is the case only. And again, when these two meet each other, then this is known as break-even point, and this is the situation where no profit and no loss exist. And after that, if TC is rising, that means you are incurring losses again. So this is the concept of how a monopolistic firm can be at equilibrium situation. And the second one is also very easy to understand. Okay, so this is marginal revenue and marginal cost approach. I have taught you so many times that you have to understand regarding these two. First condition of the second approach is marginal revenue must be equal to marginal cost, and secondly, marginal cost curve should cut the marginal revenue curve from below. So I'm just going to write it here. Okay, so marginal revenue curve in case of monopolistic competition is also a downward sloping curve from left to right, and a marginal revenue curve is like that. Okay, this is as usual we have understood in the concept regarding cost function. So this is marginal revenue curve and this is marginal cost curve. You can see that at this point they both are equal to each other, and MC This is marginal cost curve and this is marginal revenue curve. So you can see that the marginal cost curve is cutting the marginal revenue curve from below. So at this point, the monopolistic firm shall be at the level of equilibrium. So this is all about that. Okay, if the two concepts are asked to you, you can simply answer in this way. And if you have gone through from the perfect competition or monopoly video lectures, then it will be very easy for you to understand this concept. So now again, as usual, I have taught you so many times that there can be number of types of profits for the different time periods. So there are basically two basic time periods, like short run and long run situations. Okay, so just we are going to go through from all these concepts once again. Although I know that in the video lectures regarding perfect competition and monopoly, we have already understood regarding these two time period or time structures, but these are also the part of a monopolistic competition. So I am just going again to clear your concepts regarding short and long run situations. So short run is simply the situation at which you cannot alter your fixed factors of input. So short run is the position where the factors of input are categorized into two parts. Okay, the first are fixed inputs and the second are variable inputs. So you can vary only the variable inputs, and fixed cannot be altered, like plant or some kind of machinery or anything else which is of a fixed nature, because you are not having the long period. So by altering these two, there can be three situations, three kind of profits or the situations can be there. Okay, so these are, the first one is known as supernormal profit, which we have already understood a number of times in the previous lectures. And the second is very obvious, and this is going to be regarding normal profits. And the final is again very easy to understand. This is known as minimum losses. Minimum losses, we have understood these three number of times in the previous lectures, but still again I am going to show you their graphs so that once again your concepts are clear and you remember in your mind. The first is the situation of supernormal profit, and remember all these three situations happens in the short run only. Okay, so what is supernormal profit? In case your average revenue is greater than your average cost, this is the situation of a supernormal profit. You can see AR is here and MR is here. First of all, I am going to give you the description regarding AR MR only. Okay, so in case of a monopoly, we have studied like that. Okay, but in case of monopolistic competition, they are flattened. Okay, so AR is like that and MR is like that. They are more flattened than the monopoly. Okay, but in case of a perfect competition, both AR and MR are equal and they are just parallel to OX axis. So this is the case of a monopolistic competition at which the AR is above the MR and they both are having the larger gap as compared to the gap between the AR and MR in case of a monopoly. So you can see here the AR is given here and MR is given here. These two are curves and AC is there. This is average cost curve and this is cutting the average revenue curve at this point. And this is MC marginal cost curve and this is cutting MR from below. Okay, and this is also cutting AC as well and this is also cutting AR as well. So this shaded area ABPC, that stands for your normal profit, because at that situation the average revenue is greater than average cost. This is very simple concept. If your sales are greater than your expenses, obviously you shall be earning a lot of money. So this is known as supernormal profit situation. The second one is normal profit situation. This is also very easy to understand. If your average revenue becomes equal to average cost curve, this is the situation of normal profit. You can see in this example, this is average revenue curve, this is marginal revenue curve, this is average cost curve, and it is a tangent to average revenue curve at point A. And this point is known as the point of normal profits, because in that case you are earning normal profits only, as everyone is enjoying in the in the market. So this is the situation of a normal profit. Okay, and the final one is the minimum losses, when you are not able to cover your fixed cost. Okay, because you have to bear the fixed cost. If you are covering your average variable cost, but still you have to bear the loss of a fixed cost, and this is known as minimum loss situation. It can be the situation of a monopolistic. In case when uh, average cost is greater than average revenue. Okay, because if your expenses are greater than your sales, obviously you shall be incurring losses. In that case, only the average variable costs are covered by the monopolistic firm. So this is AR curve and this is MR curve, and you can see that ABC, this is average variable cost curve. This is a tangent to average revenue curve at point A. That is referring that you are covering the average cost, average variable cost only. But the average cost curve are higher than the average revenue curve. So the difference like A, B, P and P1, A, B, P and P1, and that shaded area refers to your loss, because even if you are covering your average variable cost, still you have to bear the losses of a fixed cost. And this is the situation of a monopolistic firm in case of a short run, when they are covering only the variable cost. So this is these were the three situations in case of a short run. Okay, in case of a short run, only these were the three conditions which you have to understand. I think number of times these you have understood from me, and covering these is not going to be that much difficult for you. The last one is going to be under this concept is the equilibrium position in the long run. And in the long run, you know that any firm can enjoy only the normal profits. The reason being that all the factors of inputs are variable, are of a variable nature, So the monopolistic firm can earn only normal profits. Okay, so neither this can go for super normal profit, and nor it can incur losses, but whatever it can earn is the normal profit. And at this point, the average curve is equal to average cost curve is equal to average revenue curve. I'm just going to explain with this figure. You can see this is known as average revenue curve, this is known as a marginal revenue curve, and this is going to be long run average cost curve. So you can see that this is the average cost curve. Okay, and this is a tangent to AR curve at point N. Okay, and this is marginal cost curve, and this is cutting the marginal revenue curve from below, and this is also cutting the average revenue and average cost curve from below. So the situation at which these two matches to each other, like AR becomes equal to AC, that situation is known as the situation of normal profit. Do not be confused about the excess capacity. I'm going to explain you in the upcoming slides only. So you can learn from this slide only the thing that in case of long run, if the monopolistic firm wishes to be at equilibrium position, they can earn only normal profits. So this is the situation I think you are enjoying right now, and I think 2 or 3 concepts are left. After that, this lecture shall be over. That is going to be regarding selling cost. I have already taught you the 2 most important features of a monopolistic competition. The first I have taught you regarding product differentiation, regarding which we have already understood in detail previously. And secondly, I taught you that the firm has to bear advertising cost. The only reason for that, they have to tell their consumer how their product is different from some other sellers. So this is known as a selling cost. You have to bear that. Okay, so selling cost play key role in monopolistic competition and oligopoly. Under these market forms, the firm has to compete with each other to promote their sales by spending on advertising and publicity. So Chamberlain, who introduced the analysis of a selling cost, he differentiated the selling cost from the production cost. So the average, the selling cost is all equal to the average cost, what we have already understood previously in the chapter named cost function. So this is the curve, and this is like rectangular hyperbola, okay, or this is known as average selling cost curve. Okay. So the curve of selling cost is a tool of economic analysis. It is a curve of average selling cost per unit of a product, and it is same like average cost curve, and this is also known as U-shaped curve. So all these concepts are, I think, cleared to you right now. And the last thing what we have to understand is only the concept of excess capacity. You must understand that there is the concept of excess capacity in the case of monopolistic competition. Okay, what is the meaning of excess capacity? Excess capacity is the difference between productively efficient level of output and profit maximization level of output. So this is the difference between these two things. Okay, so when you do not produce to the optimum level, but you are producing only to the level to maximize their profit, then you have some kind of excess capacity with you, and this is known as excess capacity, which can be used at some other point of time whenever you wishes to increase your profit margin more and more. So the concept of excess capacity is found in the works of Wicksell and Kearney. Then P. Ruff and Mrs. John Robinson's also outlined them. But Mr. Chamberlain, who expounded it in a most systematic manner, and it was followed by Kaldor Khan, Herod, and Castles. So basically, if we are making the meaning of that, you can say that this is the difference between a productively efficient level of output and profit maximization level output. And this is all about that. So you will be able to understand by this graphical formation. This is the case of a perfect competition. You can see that demand is equal to AR is equal to MR, and AC is AC is just at this level. Okay, so this is at this level, and marginal cost curve is cutting both MR and AR from below and at this level. So this is the level of equilibrium position, which is known as a productively efficient level. This is known as a productively efficient level. Okay, so this is productively efficient level, and we can recognize it like here. This is productively efficient ever. This is the case of monopolistic competition. You can see this is AR curve, this is MR curve, this is AC curve. AC curve is tangent to average revenue or demand curve at this point, and MR curve is cutting both AR and AC at this point and this point. So you can see it completely here. If you are producing to the level of a productive efficiency level, then you can produce these much quantities. Like suppose you can produce 1000 units, say for example, but you are earning maximum profit. So this is the profit shaded area. You know that I have already taught you the equilibrium position in the short run and long run. So this is the profit area of the monopolistic firm. So if you are earning maximum profit at this level, then this is very obvious that you shall produce only that level of output. And this level is known as a profit maximization level of output. Suppose this comes at the level of 600 units only. Then the difference between these two, 1000 and 600, this is known as 400. And this is known as excess capacity. And that is all the concept of excess capacity, which we have to understand in the concept or video regarding the monopolistic competition. So it is all about that. So I hope you would have enjoyed this lecture a lot, as I have enjoyed while delivering you. So I believe that you have gone through from all the previous video lectures. Only then it's reasonable to understand this lecture. So if we are making the conclusion again, what we have learned in this video lecture, first of all, I taught you regarding what is monopolistic competition, most important features I explained you. Then product differentiation we studied. After that, we saw how the monopolistic firm can be at equilibrium level under different approaches. Then I taught you regarding the concept of time, and in the time I taught you how whatever the names of the profits or losses the monopolistic firm can earn. This that was supernormal profit, then normal profit, then minimum losses, and finally we learned regarding long run equilibrium position. That was the case of normal profits only. Then I taught you regarding the most important feature, that was selling cost, and I taught you how its curve is made, and this is also U-shaped curve like average cost curve. Then I taught you regarding excess capacity under the monopolistic competition. That was just the difference between productively efficient level of output and maximizing level of output, and it was all about that. Understanding this is not going to be that much difficult for you. So I hope you would have enjoyed this a lot. Regarding the next lecture, we shall be intimating you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for joining me. This was Gurpal Singh from Gursur Education.